The world has become digital, and we need to find new ways to solve current.
Public broadcaster came under the spotlight at the SABC inquiry. Former SABC board chairperson Dikobe dismissed claims that he and Hlari Motsoeneng were beholden to President Jacob Zuma. But another former board chairperson, Alan Chabalala, insisted that there was gross political interference at the public broadcaster.
Dr. Ben Gubane came out fighting. He accused the ad hoc committee of giving him insufficient time to prepare for the inquiry.
I want to make this clear. My head, so to say, was shaved in this house in my absence. You allowed people to comment on me without letting me know that I should be here or send my representative. So I have serious reservations, and I reserve my right to take further action if your findings are adverse, because I think that would be unfair.
He took some heat on the performance of the corporation during his tenure, but he maintained a consistent line.
We managed to turn the SABC around. We managed to prosecute a number of people and institute disciplinary processes. So I really don't understand what you mean.
Gubane drew the ire of lawmakers on his comments about the role of the public protector.
People hate each other. They group people into camps. You are in the wrong camp, so we'll finish you off. That's how I view the public protector's report on SABC. We are taking the one at ESCOM to review. I can tell you that, because this state capture report is full of holes.
Later in the day, Chabalala revealed that the ANC, DA and the South African Communist Party had applied political interference at the public broadcaster. She even mentioned Higher Education Minister Blade Nzimande, but she declined to divulge the names of other politicians, saying she would give the committee a written submission.
In fact, I did receive even an information from politicians that there was a plan not to have you as chairperson. There was a lineup that this will be minister, this will be chair. So you are the wrong chairperson. Can I substantiate?
Can I just ask something as we close? I'm not going to be coming back, because I think what should happen, Chair, is that the issue that it's now coming up is that there are more politicians that are involved.
Meanwhile, while the committee has resolved not to call Motsoeneng to give evidence, the UDM has requested the committee to reconsider this decision. The committee will reconvene on the 19th and it aims to adopt a draft report by the 24th. Affected parties can reply to it by no later than the 9th of February. A final report is expected at the end of February. Pulelani Philip, SABC News, Parliament.
The Public Protector's preliminary report on Absa's apartheid-era bailout billions has drawn mixed reactions. Parliament, through Scopa, supports a full investigation into the apartheid state corruption.
A report by Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane on Absa Bank. Though it paid back the money, it allegedly failed to pay the interest amounting to 2.25 billion rand. Parliament is now calling for the Public Protector to get to the bottom of apartheid-era corruption. Scopa wants to see government recouping all the money owed by Absa.
We think it is a good thing. It is a good start. There are many other cases that we believe should have been investigated that have not been investigated. And this now being the case, we think that the Public Protector needs everybody's support to ensure that we get to the bottom of this rot.
But an analyst cautions against the matter being used for political battles. He cited a current impasse between the four major banks suspending accounts of the Gupta family.
It directly relates to the current political battles. Because one side of those battles is saying, look, what is happening at the moment, that was mentioned in the last Public Protector report, that's not state capture. It's people actually trying to free the economy from white business which controlled the economy in the past. So they're going to point to this and they're going to say, this is what happened in the past, and this is what we're trying to change. Their opponents are going to say the fact that white business did this under apartheid doesn't mean that other business must do this under democracy.
However, the matter is still far from being settled, as it may still go to the courts for a review. Montlengani Dipoko, SABC News, Johannesburg.
That's a wrap. Your news will have more at the bottom of the hour. You can share your thoughts if you like. Morning live at sabc.co.za. Let's go to the weather wall, where Paul is standing by with an update.
In your weather for today, we're expecting a bit more rainfall towards the northern parts and the northeastern parts of South Africa. Take a look at the satellite image. It might seem like a lot of grey and stuff that don't make sense to you, but there's moisture and clouds developing just along those parts. And you can see the system moving in that direction towards the northeastern part of South Africa. And you can see isolated and scattered showers. So the scattered showers here in the northern parts, covering Gauteng, some parts of Limpopo province and Mpumalanga. It's going to extend and grow a little bit bigger. I'll show you just a moment there. Fog patches are expected along KwaZulu-Natal and the Eastern Cape province, and also towards the Western Cape here. But that's just early morning fog. It will clear up during the day, and some clear conditions across the southern and the western part of South Africa. Calvinia over the southwest is at 34 degrees, and you can basically see this northwestern corner here is actually quite hot. 26, 35, 31, 34, and another 35. So you can see quite hot temperatures here, and that's where it's basically clear and dry. Uppington, 38 being one of the hottest ones, and then towards the northeast it gets a little bit cooler, 21 towards Emelo and 25 from Bombela. Pietermaritzburg also at 24 degrees. So you can basically see the pattern of weather here in South Africa, what it looks like. So this part, the eastern and the southeastern parts are quite cooler, and we're expecting rainy conditions there, whereas the west is quite dry and clear, and hot weather is expected. I did mention that the rainfall will spread down south into as much of KwaZulu-Natal, Lesotho, and definitely for Gauteng. Still at 60% chance of rainfall is forecast. So that's what you need to look out for. Hot weather for the Northern Cape province. Still going to be quite warm. The only place that might be cool is by Monday towards Port St. John's, along Koffingvaba, those areas in towards Mthatha. It's going to get a bit cooler to start off your week, but you'll start off your week with rainy weather and also possibilities of winds becoming much stronger at around 40 kilometers an hour. And 25 kilometers an hour just along the Eastern Cape coast there. And then again, as you move towards KwaZulu-Natal, gets a lot stronger at around 30 kilometers an hour along those parts of South Africa. And what you need to remember is that this rainfall is going to continue possibly into the new week as well, but that still does not mean the drought is gone. We're still suffering from those long-term drought effects that were caused about 2-3 seasons ago. So please be extra careful and use your water sparingly. Okay, that's it for now. I'll bring you more weather details later.
Thanks, Tietzi. Now, it looks like the issue of reading, or the lack thereof, in this country is one that we're going to talk about for years to come. Well, this week we heard Deputy President Cyril Ramaphosa encourage the class of 2017 to read to the point where books become friends. An initiative founded to encourage people living in townships and rural areas to read more argues that there are more interesting ways to get people to read. Well, last night, BALA, or the Black and African Literature and Arts Movement, through a book party because book clubs are getting boring. Among the purposes of the book party, which took place at #Meet Cafe in Garankuwa, was to collect books from party attendees to pass them on to those that are not exposed to books and literature. All right, founder and director of BALA, or BALA, Ben Dikobe, joins us now to explain the movement and tell us more about last night's book party. Good morning. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you. It's
How are you doing?
To be here. I'm okay, Level.
All right, let's talk about who introduced you to books and literature, and why was there comfort in the space?
It's always been a family thing. My dad at a very, very tender age, and I've never put a book down ever since. And this was like what? I must have been about 6, 7 or so. And I've always enjoyed reading. I've always loved reading. So much to a point that I've also introduced my children to reading. And they've taken to it, like fish and water.
Yeah. And how does reading actually change your outlook on life?
It changes your perspective in many ways. I mean, I've been to places I've never been to, like physically. But I've been there, in my mind. I've been to Cuba. I've been to Afghanistan, through Khaled Husseini. I've been to many cities across the United States of America, many cities across Europe. So it really broadens your horizons. But more than anything else, it also shifts the paradigms that you currently have because, on an ongoing basis, we create paradigms and we sit in paradigms. But when you read, you expand your thinking and you tap into other people's minds, you tap into other people's thinking, and your perspective becomes broader.
Yeah. Let's talk about Black and African literature arts movement. What is it?
It really is a movement that seeks to bring in literature and also the arts into Black spaces. We've always known that the Artifati have always been known to be this particular group, this elite group of snobs, to a larger extent white, with Black tricklings here and there and stuff. But the whole idea is to actually demystify this whole world of literature, this whole world of arts, and bring it back into the spaces where it actually belongs and where, I would argue, where it actually started. Because it started, for us, art is second nature. For us, reading or storytelling, whether it's by word of mouth or whether it's by text, emanates from the Black spaces, I would argue, yes.
But why townships in rural areas, though?
There is a dire need. I think over time, we have actually seen the death of the written word, or fascination with the written word, or interaction with the written word. So we have seen that, and we don't read anymore. But the most critical thing was a quote that I happened on many years ago, and the quote was, "Until lions tell their own stories, then hunters will continue to be heroes in their own stories."
True.
So we want to make the lions and give the lions the platform to tell their own stories. When you look at it very within the short term, it's to get people to start reading, to start consuming stuff. But yesterday, the run was particularly about trying to create a Pan-African library, bring in authors, Black or African authors. When I say African authors, I'm talking about the likes of Andre Brink, the Anke Crocs, the Nadine Godimas of this world. But African, and we can go wide and go to the likes of Violet Bulawayo and go even to Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie and stuff. But it's really stuff that will also inculcate a sense of consciousness in people. When people read stories about themselves, when people see themselves through the eyes of their peers, through the eyes of their neighbor, then it also changes the way that they see themselves as well.
So, briefly, what happened last night? So people walked in with their book. How did it work?
Specifically yesterday, it was about, and I had Sam mention earlier on that he had never been to a book party.
Yeah.
Well, Sam, to your credit and to support you as well, I had never been to a book club as well until yesterday.
Yeah.
But what happened was we had actually requested people to bring in books, preferably by African or Black writers.
Right.
And people walked in with whatever books that they had, but if you didn't have any book by an African or Black author, it was still okay.
Yeah.
So a whole lot of people came through and they were doing contributions and stuff and leaving the books there. Yeah. But we also encouraged everyone else to start reading as well, to say, look, here's a space, it's in a party, there's music, lovely music in the background, but at that particular venue, at the #Meet Cafe, there's a VIP area which is nicer and quieter in there, and air conditioned as well.
Yeah.
So we had people in there saying, these are books, you can sit there with your dop and your steak in there or your lamb chops and grab a book and read.
All right, I'm gonna have to let you go, but somebody who might want to contribute to this but wasn't there last night, what do they do?
Call me.
All right, so where's the number?
081 779 5253.
All right, say that again for us.
081 779 5253.
All right, thank you.
Otherwise, you can go onto my page on Facebook and then M. Dikobe.
Dikobe.
Yes.
All right, got it. And then we've got the email address there on your screen, bendikobe@gmail.com. So if you want to contribute to that, which I think is an amazing, amazing concept. I don't know if I want to get rid of my African books though, but I'm pretty sure you can. Founder of Black and African Literature and Arts Movement, Dikobe, speaking to us, among other things, last night's book party at #Meet Cafe in Garankuwa in Pretoria, which among the movement's ways to interest people in reading without boring them. BALA targets people living in townships and rural areas. They're hoping to introduce people to the culture of reading. If you'd like to get involved or assisted, you may contact Dikobe. There we have it on your screen, bendikobe@gmail.com. All right, we'll give you sports news after this. Remember,